Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. Probably wondering where I got this beautiful cup of... It does not want to show the coffee. You can kind of see the reflection of it, but you might be wondering where I got that beautiful cup of coffee at. And to find out the answer, check out my Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulations review, which should be out by the time this video goes up. But of course, we're reviewing The Invasion, and so I'm reviewing pretty much every 2001 pay-per-view post WrestleMania, because that's where things really kick off. Now, we're not quite full scale in The Invasion yet, but we're starting to see the seeds being planted in more ways than one. And you may ask, Nigel, where are those seeds? I don't really see anything on the show. I've watched Backlash 2001. What seeds are you talking about? There's seeds there. We're gonna find out which ones. I'm, of course, talking about, well, I just mentioned it, but Backlash 2001. So, as always, I'm not professional. Not a professional wrestling viewer or anything, or analyst or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I had a pretty decent time with this match. Normally, backlashes after WrestleMania, when they used to have backlash after WrestleMania, are usually either better or not as good at, as WrestleMania, or sometimes they're on par. This one, it'd be hard to compete with WrestleMania 17, aka probably one of the best WrestleManias of all time. But still, I had an okay time, I would say. Watching the show, there are some gems, there are some stuff for historical reasons, and admittedly, this might be the biggest collection of matches I want to review individually, but now that we're doing the invasion and now that we are watching this pay-per-view, I'm glad they're kind of here in one place, but nevertheless, let's get right into it. If you've seen these reviews of mine before, you can already know how this works, but if you haven't, gonna be talking about what I liked, disliked about each match, and we're gonna go match by match. Match, match. A couple things to kind of lean into where we're getting into here, leaning into the pay per view. At this time, Shane McMahon is the owner of WCW. I almost said the WCW, but Shane McMahon is the owner of WCW. Stole it right from under his old man's nose, and so Vince pretty much is trying to get back at Shane. The two-man power trip is an entity. And they already have the Intercontinental and WWF championships. Steve Austin is the WWF champion. He won the title back at WrestleMania 17 when he turned heel and essentially sold his soul to Vince McMahon, or to quote Jim Ross, who is on the call for the show, shook hands with Satan himself, that being Mr. McMahon. Excuse me. Meanwhile, Triple H is the Intercontinental Champion. Let me see how he won the Intercontinental Championship. Triple H. Okay, so Triple H took the Intercontinental Championship from Chris Jericho. Which is crazy. At this point, I get where they're going with this, and you're going to see later on in the show. Triple H at this point really doesn't need the Intercontinental Championship. He's already a bona fide main eventer. The Intercontinental Championship is more of a mid-card title. Now, not saying main event level superstars haven't won the Intercontinental title before and since, because it's happened plenty of times, but at this point, did Triple H really need the Intercontinental Championship at this point? He's already Triple H. He's already been WWF champion multiple times, but nevertheless, he is Intercontinental champion here. And so the two-man power trip hold the two top titles, but now they're looking to add two more because they're facing Undertaker and Kane in the main event to hold all the titles. And if the opening promo package for Backlash is to be believed, the ones who hold all the gold will be the ones who hold all the power. And they may win the gold, but who will have the power? The ones who hold all the gold. You just explained it to us. Why'd you then ask a question, answer your own question, and then ask the question again? That's kind of weird. But no, as for the event itself, now we're heading into the event itself. Those are the main things I needed to talk about. But uh, I but But we do also have Insurrection coming up. That'll actually be the next pay-per-view review we'll do later on tonight. But that one also is going to be. Well, we'll get to it, but that one's a week after this one. But as for this event and for Backlash here, we're now getting into the show proper. There are two matches that were on Sunday Night Heat, that being Jerry Lynn Bell and Crash Holly and Lita defeating Molly Holly. They did not make the pay-per-view, but they were on Heat. I decided I probably wouldn't bother because those are like pre-show matches. But that's now getting into the actual card here as the X Factor, or that being Albert, Just Incredible, and X Pac battle the Dudley Boys, that being Bubba Ray, Devon, and Spike Dudley. A couple things. And so actually, one thing I have to mention about the pay per view itself, in like the transition packages and even like at the end of the opening package, the swinging hooks, yes please, coolest things ever. But also, when it comes to this Spike Dudley teaming with his brothers, given all their history, is quite interesting. But also, the X Factor finally have a decent sounding theme. Look, I don't listen to Uncle Cracker. All right, I was a 2000s kid, but I was late. I was much later 2000s when I got into wrestling, and I was only like I wasn't even a year old when this pay per view takes place. But the Uncle Cracker theme after like you're doing with the X Factor. It's so jarring. It's been memed so many times. It's been ridiculed and made fun of by wrestling fans ever since. And apparently it was a personal choice by X Pac. I saw the interview he did with, I believe, Chris Van Vliet, where he talked about wanting the Uncle Cracker music afterwards. Or it's between. Unfortunately, I hate to say it. No disrespect to X Pac, between that and him apparently not liking his solo theme while he was with that being Make Some Noise, X Pac doesn't have the best taste in music. There, I said it. It's out there, but no disrespect to my Uncle Cracker fans, but it's just very weird, very jarring. Was there another song he could have picked, perhaps? Like, if you really, sorry, I had to adjust my background here. If you really want Uncle Cracker, you're telling me there wasn't a more fitting theme for it, but this theme, it's not much. It's much better, but it's not amazing. But nevertheless, that's beside the point. As for this match, pretty okay, pretty standard 6-man stuff for the most part. The fans chant, "We want tables," and they eventually do get their tables, but not before X Factor get the surprising win with the double super kick from both X Pac and Just Incredible, which I guess was probably the inspiration for the Usos later on about a decade later. But afterwards, the fans do indeed get their tables. Bubba Ray and Devon and Spike set up the tables. Well, it's a low blow from Spike, and then the 3D to X Pac to put him through the table. So the Dudley Boys lose the match, but they win the battle, and the fans do get their tables. But we'll see these two teams cross paths again, and when we get to Insurrection, but. As for this match, not bad, not a bad opener. Kind of a way to kind of wake the crowd up a little bit. It's they want their tables, they get the table. Also, kind of a good, decent little primer match for the night to come. But next up in a hardcore match for the Hardcore Championship, Rhino defends against Raven. Of course, both men from ECW, so of course you gotta put them in a hardcore match, but. This match pretty much a lot of weapon and a lot of hard shots from the weapon, and including Rhino, I believe hitting his elbow on the shopping cart. There was a spot with the shopping cart that was brought into the ring. As someone who used to work in a grocery store with her, and one of the jobs I had to do was push shopping carts, and having those shopping carts accidentally run into me by accident, or like kicking my leg by accident as I was walking on the shopping cart. Those things kind of hurt, and so I imagine that was probably not a fun bump to take from Rhino. Oh, but he did, and these two just absolutely plunder each other with weapons, and Rhino does eventually get the win over Raven. And but and but so Rhino does retain the hardcore championship, and ECW guys kind of typecast into doing ECW things, uh, at least it was entertaining. The shots were kind of hard, heard, so props to both men on that, I guess. But yeah, so Rhino gets the win over Raven. But next up though, in the Duchess of Queensberry rules match, William Regal battles Chris Jericho. So Willie Reeks has been is the commissioner, the physical commissioner, in the WWF at the time, and has been getting into it with Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho really challenging William Regal's authority. This is back when WWF had commissioners, which were pretty much like the early version of like general managers and stuff. In fact, let me know if you guys want to see WWE bring back commissioners. Me personally, in a way, they kind of did. I think Adam Pearce was commissioner for a while, or I think it was just acting general manager. But yeah, so there was commissionership. So now William Regal is battling Chris Jericho in the Duchess of Queensberry rules match, and we do see earlier, like between matches and everything, William Regal welcoming the Duchess of Queensberry to the arena and everything, and and we are in the Allstate Arena in Chicago, aka Rosemont. And so William Regal welcomes her and everything. And what are the Duchess of Queensberry rules match? What are the Duchess of Queensberry rules for the match? Pretty much whatever William Regal and the Duchess say they are. Now, obviously, obviously, the whole scheme of the match, the whole joke of the match is that the rules are ever changing and nobody really knows the rules, so it allows William Regal and, by extension, the Duchess of Queensberry to essentially make them up as they go. So that's kind of the whole crux and everything of the match. But it's to the point where the referee doesn't even know. Well, literally, the only two people who know are William Regal and Duchess of Queensberry, and apparently Paul Heyman, because he has an uncle who's kind of familiar with the Duchess of Queensberry rules, aka Paul Heyman, kind of going along with the rules. Now, obviously, like I said, I get the joke. The joke makes sense. It's pretty much it's scheming to screw Jericho over in the match. But shouldn't the referee theoretically also be in on the rules as well, so he knows how to, I guess, leave the cap off? Shouldn't the referee also theoretically be in on the rules so he knows how to properly enforce the match? And now, obviously, I get it. Like I said, it's to make up the rules as they go, but that's but I think logistically, even from like a kayfabe point of view, the referee probably should be in on it. But I guess William Regal and the Duchess disagree. But uh, but nevertheless, so as I kind of mentioned, the rules ever change. For example, there's apparently rounds in this. So I guess they're using the round system, which I do know is kind of a part of like European style wrestling. There is like the round system. I believe it was uh, was it the AW? Uh, uh, I forget at the exact wrestling promotion. AWF. That was it. The AWF that used the round system in their matches, and we also saw it in like the King of the Mountain matches in TNA, and we even see it in like the Heritage Cup rules match down in NXT. So this match does apparently have rounds, even though there's technically only 2 rounds for this match. Then rules made when Regal gets himself disqualified that there's no disqualifications, and William Regal taps out to the walls of Jericho. Oh, uh, and the Duchess declares that you can't win by submission. So pretty much just stacking the deck against Jericho. Jericho eventually does have enough though, beats down the kind of security guards that the Duchess has with her. Which of those two ended up becoming a wrestler? Because you know how extras are in pro wrestling. Do let me know in the comments if you guys know for sure. But Jericho does put the Duchess in the walls of Jericho. Oh, and I won't mention what Jericho was said about the Duchess on his way down to the ring because different time essentially. But But Regal then nails Jericho with a chair in order to get the win. So Regal and the Duchess, whose kind of wig is falling off, which is funny, they end up escaping, and so Jericho is essentially screwed over. But don't worry, we'll see how things go when they rematch at Insurrection. Also worth mentioning, I should mention the commentary team. It is a lot of people consider a very underrated duo in Jim Ross and Paul Heyman, and admittedly, they do have some pretty fun chemistry. Jim Ross is known for his commentary with Jerry Lawler, who was out at this time. This was around the time where Jerry Lawler was not in WWE, WWF, because they fired his then wife, the Cat, and so Jerry left in protest alongside her, but so Jim Ross was doing commentary with Paul Heyman for this. Yes, and Paul Heyman was Jim Ross's commentary partner for a while on Raw. Eventually Jerry King Lawler would come back and Paul Heyman would be fired on screen, but I do know they also will be kind of a commentary duo as we get more into the invasion. Uh, but hey, yeah, so the match was still pretty fun. It was some pretty fun action between the two, and admittedly, the kind of changes they were making with the Duchess of Queens it was very heelish. But it was also kind of funny. It added that extra like layer of depth and storytelling to the match. But next up, we have the 30-minute ultimate submission match as Chris Benoit battles Kurt Angle. Well, pretty much two of the best technicians on the roster at this time, going head to head. Yes, please. And they put it over huge in like the high package for it. And so we see them facing off here. So the rules are they're a lot more defined than the Duchess of Queensberry, but the rules are whenever you get a not disqualification, and whenever you get a submission, I should say, you get a point. Right, so, we see them putting each other in submissions, and both men are very well versed when it comes to submissions. So, Angle. So Angle gets the first points, then Benoit hits a point, and Angle gets 2 points up on Benoit, and then Benoit quickly with then Benoit with two submissions to get Angle up, so it's 3-3, and at the closing moments of the match initially, is when Kurt Angle has Benoit in the ankle lock. And it's also worth mentioning both men made each other tap with their own respective submissions. Of course, Angle has the ankle lock, Benoit has the crippler crossface. So now Benoit is stuck in the submission, and as time finally expires before Benoit taps, but time expires, so it ends in a draw. But then the referee declares sudden death. So, now the next one to score submission wins, and it ends up being Benoit who does make Kurt Angle tap out to, I believe, did make him tap out to the crippler crossface. Yep, to finally win 4-3. Fantastic match. Like I said, two of the best technicians just going at it for 30 minutes was absolutely an absolute treat. Now, Iron Man style matches like that are usually hit or miss, I feel like, in WWE, but I think in this, WWE/WF, but I think in this, they very much nailed it, and I think that also comes down to performers, because Benoit and Angle are as versed and as talented as they are, they definitely were able to make the match work. And the fact that they went with the submission route, I think, really not only played to both men's strengths, but also really played to the drama in this match. To see both men really fighting for those submissions was really awesome and really interesting to see. And it added that level of like drama to the match, and you kind of feel the struggle of both men as they try to lock in submissions and get points. Excuse me. So very, very well done in that regard. But next up, we have the last man standing match as Shane McMahon battles the Big Show. So the Big Show is pretty much kind of the mercenary for Vince McMahon, and is tasked with taking out Shane aka the owner of WCW, in this match. And Shane and Big Show have kind of been going at it. They've been attacked. Big Show has attacked Shane. He's also attacked Test, who is the first WCW superstar to align with Shane. So uh, oh, Test being WCW along with Shane really is probably a bad omen of things to come, but we'll get there when we get there in terms of the alliance. But even before this on SmackDown, on a promo so nice they had to show it twice, both in the high package and on its own, where Shane McMahon has like the storybook. Again, kind of talk about Big Show. He makes the beanstalk, like the Jack and the Beanstalk analogy. And pretty much talking about, oh, Big Show's going to have a great fall. Well, one of them's going to have a great fall. It's not quite going to be the Big Show, though, as you'll see. But Shane ain't having fun with the Beanstalk promo. Something they tried to make Roman Reigns then do. Oh, also to the Big Show later on. And this wasn't Tribal Chief OTC Roman Reigns. This was Big Dog Roman Reigns. More specifically, 2014 Big Dog Roman Reigns, and it did not work. It was pretty cringe. And don't forget the early days of Roman Reigns when it comes to promos were they were something. But nevertheless, we then go to this match here, and this match is pretty David versus Goliath, with Shane really having to find different ways to overcome the Big Show and try to overcome the size difference. But Big Show annihilating Shane for most of this match, including like putting him down for several moments until the referee counts. And before the referee can get to 10, Big Show just picks him back up and delivers more punishment. So there was that aspect. Test does show up, and he kind of gets his revenge, his lick back on the Big Show. Sorry, I am adjusting my background quite a bit because it keeps kind of falling. But oop, not that. There we go. But um, but yeah, so Test as kind of gets his lick back on the Big Show, nails him with the big boot, so they battle as well. Oh, and eventually they go to the stage area. Shane climbs up the structure on the stage. Test takes down the Big Show, lays him down, tells Shane to jump. Shane with an absolutely insane dive off the stage, onto the Big Show. Oh, and then Test picks up Shane's kind of lifeless body and props him on like the rotating camera. We'll leave it there. I'll stop messing with it for the video. We'll have it fixed by the next video though. But Test props Shane on like the moving crane cam in order to give him the win. So absolutely crazy dive. They replay it multiple times, and Jim Ross, I think it was, called it, saying this will be replayed for years to come, and it very much is. It's one of like the most replayed moments. It's one of Shane McMahon's most recognizable dive, of which there are several for Shane, and it kind of became one of his major characters. I think this was one of like Shane's first like really, really big dives that I can remember. Of course, Shane would do it several more times throughout the years, but this was one of the earliest ones I can think of. But just absolute insanity. So Shane gets the win, and David essentially overcomes Goliath, and so Shane gets the big win here. But man, he's messed up, and props to Shane for that absolutely insane dive. But next up, we have in the semi-main event, we have the European Championship Triple Threat. Matt Hardy defends against Christian and Eddie Guerrero. Matt Hardy is the European champion. I totally forgot Matt Hardy was ever European champion, but he is. And so this match, okay. Hey, kind of the palate cleanser between the two kind of big matches, between the Last Man Standing and the main event. Kind of gives the crowd a chance to catch their breath. Not too bad of a match. Jim Ross talks about how it's so great that the other team members aren't here to interfere. And then the other teams interfere. First, Edge shows up to try to help out Christian. Then Jeff Hardy shows up. Sadly, nobody to help Eddie. But eventually, Matt Hardy does pick up the win, and on Christian. He pins Christian to pick up the win. So kind of okay match. Like I said, kind of kind of gives the crowd a chance to catch their breath for the main event, and which is up next for all the titles and thus for all the power, or the two-man power trip, which I guess makes sense for the for the promo package. The two-man power trip battles the Brothers of Destruction, that being Undertaker and Kane. This, of course, is like the this, of course, is the American Badass Undertaker, who's coming out on the motorcycle and everything. And this is still when he had the rolling theme, but yeah, Austin and Triple H are the two main champions, and so the stipulation for this match is that if Undertaker and Kane pin Austin or Triple H, whoever pins who gets that respective title. So if say if Kane pins Triple H, he becomes Intercontinental Champion. If Kane pins Austin, he becomes WWF Champion, and vice versa. But if Austin and Triple H win, they obviously become tag team champions, because that's the one set of champions. And also nice to know Austin and Triple H overcame their problems. With Triple H hiring Rikishi to run over Steve Austin, and Austin then repaying the favor at Survivor Series by dropping Triple H from a forklift while Triple H was trapped in a car. Time heals all wounds, but nevertheless, as for this match all right for the most part. Or Kane, of course, sporting a big old bandage on his elbow, I believe. Oh my goodness, not something over there. I'll pick it up in a little bit. I believe Kane was dealing with a staph infection at this time, so his arm is bandaged. The fact that he's in this match at all is pretty crazy, and they go after him for the majority of the match. Undertaker are trying to be the overprotective big brother, saying like, no, Kane, don't get in the match. Let me do most of the work. But Kane not having any of it, and he does get dominated most of the match, almost to the point of excess, but some decent back and forth. And Undertaker does get his time in as well, and of course you got to have the interference from Stephanie. He also worth mentioning. I forgot Triple H had his game theme earlier, or this early in his career or so. Well, I wonder when he stopped coming out to my time, um, yeah, so very much almost a handicap match for a lot of it, and kind of a foreshadowing things to come when we get to Insurrection. But eventually, Stephanie does get involved. It's a big old boot from Kane. Vince gets involved as well. And that allows Triple H to nail Kane with the sledgehammer to pretty much retain his championship, retain Austin's championship as well, and become the tag team champions with Austin. So Austin and Triple H pretty much have 4 belts, two each. So they essentially now have all the power. So the two-man power trip is essentially on top of the world. Also, shout out to Austin with the red braces on his knees. We'll also see the different color brace for when we get to Insurrection. But this match, not a bad way to end off the show. Well, a little too much beating down Kane, but it does add to the overall story, and we'll see how things unfold further when we get to Insurrection. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is Backlash. So, in terms of my favorite and least favorite match of the night, or strongest and weakest match of the night, the strongest, definitely the Ultimate Submission match. Definitely a lot of fun. A fantastic match. If there's any match besides Shane and Big Show, which Shane and Big Show is like a close second, mainly on the strength of the dive. If there's any other match that you check out on this card, definitely check out the Ultimate Submission match. It is fantastic. A fantastic match. Cannot recommend it enough. And as for the weakest match of the night, probably the European Championship match. It's not a bad match, just kind of weak compared to everything else, and a decent little come down between the matches. But yeah, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Turn on those post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you never miss an upload. And let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on on Backlash 2001 and my review. Did you dislike the show? Did you dislike my review of the show? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.